In the not too distant future, next Sunday AD, there was a guy named Joel, not too different from you or me.
Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And we're finally here at the last episode of Season 1 of MST3K with episode 113, The Black Scorpion. While Season 1 had a couple watchable episodes and funny moments for sure, it's been pretty rough overall, and it'll be great to finally be finished with it. And moving forward, I probably won't be going chronologically with the rest of the episodes, so if you have any suggestions about what episode I should review next, make sure to leave it below. But let's not waste any more time and dive right into the last Season 1 episode of MST3K, episode 113, The Black Scorpion. We start with our cold open, where Joel and the bots are doing what I feel like doing right now and partying it up, because I'm almost done with this freaking season. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so hard on the season, but if you'd had to have watched Robot vs. the Aztec Mummy for as long as I did for that video, you'd be pretty salty too. Anyway, well, once again, Joel describes everything we already know because of the theme song, we at least get some fun visuals to go along with the explanation. Next comes the Invention exchange, and after being visually assaulted with Dr. Earhart's cold fusion mutated head, we see Joel's invention, a giant party favor that's really, really lame. We've had a lot of hit and miss inventions in this season, but this is most certainly a miss for me. The scientists have clearly just copied Joel's invention and decide to head straight into the experiment instead, and we see that Dr. Forrester did not escape the cold fusion thing unscathed.
Hey everybody, it's me, it's Joel. I'm marooned out in outer space and now you're trapped in the vacuum with me. The robots are throwing me a little party today. What did you guys spike this punch with anyway?
It's 10W30 and Tang.
Come in, Joel, my little free-floating clam bake.
Hey sir, what happened to you?
Well, we had a little mishap in the lab this week. We were trying to make a cold fusion Walkman, and I don't know what happened, but, well, you see what happened.
When I was a boy, I used to play with one of these. And now, I'm a man, all right? What's your invention, sir?
Never mind. Are you okay, Clay?
Yes, Larry, remember, it's all in the name of science. Well, your film today, Joel, is called Black Scorpion. It's a Mexican film with effects by Ray Harryhausen.
It's filled with blue screen action and jerky monster movement, but at least there's no recognizable talent in it. Enjoy.
Yep. Oh, we got movie stars!
Unlike a lot of films this season, this one starts off with a literal bang as a volcano erupts in Mexico and we watch the destruction unfold. And oh look, another silhouette gag that isn't quite funny enough to justify the characters knowing what's going to happen on screen. Don't worry, I'm not just ragging on Season 1. If you haven't seen my Season 11 reaction videos, just know I give the "we know what's going to happen on screen already" gags there an equally hard time. We then meet up with two geologists, Hank Scott and Arturo Ramos, who have come to study the eruption in the village of San Lorenzo nearby. The movie both tells and shows us that San Lorenzo has pretty much been cut off from humanity since the eruption, and I'm no expert of horror movie cliches, but I'm pretty sure that's bad news.
Yellowstone, 1988. Fire lay waste over 700,000 acres of pristine virgin pines. Only one man can fight these flames. Fred Astaire.
Fred Astaire?
Hey, it's Universal Studios.
That have wrecked their home as a new volcano is created by the mysterious and rebellious forces of nature.
Horny, broad-voiced announcer uses his mighty voice to put fear in the viewer's mind.
Tons of molten lava are roaring down the slopes.
Guys, get out of the way. That's why you're dying.
University of Mexico, times. To the benighted citizenry of this remote countryside,
Let's make s'mores later.
Now, Junior, we're just looking for a place to picnic here. Now, I know Gary's buried around here someplace. Look around for that shallow grave.
You know, if there's any other village within 50 miles of here, a sign like this could confuse people.
Huh? I don't get it.
Don't get me wrong, Doc. I love this Mexico of yours, but
I like my Mexico better. Got a little plastic burrow.
For
It's
my
neat.
information, Hank. Incredible. Truly, isn't it?
What, the screen behind
These
us?
estimates are right. This quake may be as severe as Mount Pelee.
This driving effect?
Oh, hiya, linesman.
How far you come, fellas?
Mexico City. We left on Monday.
Where do you want to go?
San Lorenzo. How far is it, do you know?
Who knows how the bridges are?
The bridge is
Maybe a
tar?
couple hours.
Was San Lorenzo hurt badly?
Who knows? The telephone lines are down since the earthquake.
Thanks a lot. See you later.
Take it easy.
Goodbye. See you later. Auf Wiedersehen. Hasta luego.
I'll just move this high voltage power line with this piece of metal. Just let me dip it in water first.
On their way to the obviously atrocity-filled village, the pair come across an abandoned house and a destroyed cop car that miraculously still has a working radio because plot convenience. They inform the station of the wreck and missing officer, and they're assured help will be sent to San Lorenzo right away. They start hearing a loud rattling sound, and instead of getting the heck out of Dodge, they go to investigate. Thankfully, they made what's usually a bad decision in this type of movie, because it turns out it's a baby nestled in a crib despite the destruction surrounding it. Of course, they take the little baby with them and are just about to head for the village, but end up snooping just a little more and finding the dead body of the missing officer. They message the station again, informing them of the cop and child, and as they finally reach San Lorenzo, they meet the village's priest.
Hey, hello in there.
Hello out there.
For our Jeep. Hey, hi.
Hi.
Come in. Look at that.
Wow, it's a car!
Yeah, it's a 55 Ford with little work. Could be cherry. Yeah, we chop it, drop it, add some thrush pipes. It'd be great.
Hello, do you read me?
511, I read you, Sergeant Vega. What's your location?
I'm in the front seat, but I'm not Sergeant Vega.
Better take this.
Thank you, Professor. Leave the patrol car as it is. We shall order military intelligence to send an emergency unit to San Lorenzo immediately.
We will.
Thank you for ordering. Your total is $554. Please pull ahead to the second drive-through window. Thank you.
Doing any good here, pal.
Bob, if you die, can I have your hat?
This house is filled with Christmas trees.
$10 a foot? Jeez.
What's behind the curtain?
It's a baby boy!
All right, kids, start talking.
You've had practice, Mr. Scott?
I used to be Mrs.
I guess
Scott.
so, with 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Wait a minute, they were older than
What do
me.
you suppose caused this wreck? Now, look at this kid. Not a peep out of him.
Peep. What's behind this tree? It's a dead cop!
That's right, Bob. It's a 1953 Signora Policia, complete with 38 snub-nosed revolver, dilated pupils, and rigor mortis. You too will sleep soundly in your own Signora Policia.
From Spiegel Catalog, Chicago, Illinois, 60609.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, hello?
We only found Sergeant Vega and the baby.
Thank you again. The emergency unit will be in San Lorenzo tomorrow.
They're sending a eunuch to San Lorenzo?
The San Lorenzo Milling Around Festival.
I'll ask him in Spanish. ¿No está el presidente municipal?
Okay, now ask him in French. Okay, do German again. I love
I am
this.
Father del... Gentlemen, I know you are weary after your journey. Can I offer you what hospitality the village may provide?
We tie you to a pole and spank you with reeds.
Joel and the bots decide it's time to celebrate the Mexican culture by attempting to poorly speak Spanish with Campot poorly translating it. All while Joel eats some of the blandest looking Mexican food that this Mexican, well, half Mexican, has ever seen. This segment had a lot of potential, but it turns out to be just as bland as that sad excuse for a taco.
All right, as you guys have probably noticed, most of the people in this cast are from Mexico, and I thought it'd be nice to take advantage of that to have a little cross-cultural learning experience. El dando cinemato es la preparo en moto cambrio.
Mi casa es su casa. ¿Dónde está tú?
La Plaza del Domingo e Carmen Mirando el Moto Brio e Chili con Carne este tu Jose Cuervo, por favor.
Way?
Never mind.
The next morning, against the wishes of the military that showed up due to their call, Hank and Arturo decide to head toward the volcano anyway to study it. On the way, they run into a rancher named Teresa who's fallen off her horse, but if you ask me, anyone who rides their horse near an active volcano is kinda asking for something bad to happen. They give her a ride back to town, and she gives them some exposition about her life and how she could lose her cattle to some poisonous plants and needs help from the villagers to save them. But thanks to the volcanic activity, everyone's too afraid to help her. They make it back to the village where she pleads to the locals and they agree to lend a hand. And I'm sure that decision is in no way gonna turn out badly for anybody.
Something
Still
absolutely
speaking
unknown.
Spanish, anybody?
Oui.
See.
Could be an unknown.
The milling festival ends in chaos. 2 angry villagers slap each other senseless with large T-bone steaks.
Dr. Ramon, Dr. Scott, I will ask you one more time not to begin this unnecessary expedition.
Look, Frank, drop the cheesy accent.
I don't see over that side or over here. Neither one of them looks exactly like the Pan American Highway.
Funny.
Everyone's always said that the...
Hey, I can see another movie through my binoculars.
It's a very handsome horse, and I'd like to get started.
Oh, I know she's a little plump, but come on.
Who?
There was a girl on that horse. Come on.
The horse must have eaten her.
I I think I see her.
Hey, that's the same place they filmed Robot Monster.
Except I could have done this more gracefully if I'd known spectators were around.
Looked fine from where I'm standing.
Lucero always goes back to Miraflores. But the saddle, I don't know.
I'll get it.
You're very kind.
No, he's not. I'm kinder.
You make it sound like a very intriguing occupation.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Interesting.
Well, if I lose my cattle, I lose everything. How are things in San Lorenzo?
Well, the milling festival is over, ended in a weird steak fight. Found a baby, though, gave it to a priest, and that pretty much sums up where we are in the movie.
The milling festival over, the citizens are loaded onto flatbed trucks like so many cattle.
Hey, you see my haircut? Hey. Look, I got a haircut too. Look, haircut. We all got our haircut.
Would you become frightened of sounds in the night and run like silly children to the safety of the village?
Yeah, absolutely.
I say only this muchacho.
¿Qué dicen, muchachos?
Looks like the answer's no.
The geologists are invited by the mayor into a laboratory where a local scientist is studying the poison from the plants harming the cattle. Unfortunately, the doctor's unable to do all the work with his limited resources and heads to Mexico City for more help. The next day, the geologists and the newly hired hands all head with Teresa to her ranch. After dinner that night, Hank flirts with Teresa, and Arturo shows them a piece of obsidian he took from the side of the volcano that has a scorpion inside of it. And if Jurassic Park has taught us anything, it's that whatever specimen you find encased in something should probably remain that way. And that holds true as they bust the rock open and find the scorpion is in fact still alive. Juanito, a boy who's related to Teresa in some way, I'm sure, pipes up that he likes to find scorpions, but his curiosity gets ignored like every child in every monster movie ever, which I'm certain won't come back to bite all the adults later. Teresa then gets a call from some linemen that the phone lines have all been fixed, but the men are in the wrong place at the wrong time and get attacked by a ginormous scorpion, and all three get eaten alive by the thing.
Look like subcutaneous cells that had just burst or run rampant.
So that salsa's really, really hot then, right?
And this pure alcohol. And this distilled water. And this tequila.
That's for me.
The great Velasco will identify it.
The great Velasco, juggler, sword swallower, and pathologist extraordinaire.
Hey, it's the Big Valley. And there's Barbara Stanwyck.
May I make a complaint, Teresa?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was not done suitably?
The dog was a little well done.
It. Might be very bad if I stopped thinking about work altogether and just started concentrating on pleasure.
Hank, those volcanoes have been there for hundreds of years. I'm sure they wouldn't mind waiting just a little longer.
What are they talking about, Joel?
I didn't expect
sexual
you to be
healing?
discussing volcanoes. See anything?
I like
Hold it up
it.
against the light.
Looks like Wisconsin Dells.
That's fantastic, Doc.
Thank
There's a
you.
scorpion trapped in there.
You are bold and assertive, and you get along well with
So,
Libras.
A few hundred years old, but there he is.
Alive.
Hey, it's a
Impossible.
prehistoric crunchy
Juanito, bring a
tree.
jar.
I think I'll name him Buster.
It's an ancient squeaking scorpion.
Pardon me, senores. Do you like to keep scorpions? I know a place where there are millions.
Oh, not like this one, Juanito.
This one squeaks.
Hello.
I'm a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road.
Oh, is it Lionel?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show, it's the roaches.
You got a little,
Let's see, what am I hungry for? Lobster, yeah, that's what I wanted.
Hello, what's wrong?
could you scream a little slower? I can't understand you.
Delicious guy on a stick.
You got a little, this might sting a bit. No, it's gonna sting a lot, definitely.
Back out on deck, Tom and Crow discuss Joel's weird habits like sleeping and shaving, while Gypsy slowly morphs into a scorpion. However, I have no clue why this is happening. It's not like the scorpions function like werewolves or vampires and turn other things into scorpions, so it's really just kind of bizarre and pointless. Honestly, the only funny thing about it is Gypsy eating Tom and Crow basically ignoring it. Other than that, it's not that interesting.
At approximately the same time every day, Joel goes into his cabin, stretches out horizontally on his bunk, and closes his eyes.
Yeah, and then he holds perfectly still and shuts down. Oh, cute girl. Go take a powder, huh? Yeah, this is one of those logically strange loops. Some sort of bizarre non-Euclidean human projection pattern which makes... No sense. Believe me, some sort of hidden... Oh, I tell you, buddy, human nature is a hard thing to figure.
As if giant scorpions murdering people wasn't bad enough, the volcano erupts again, a scorpion begins attacking all of San Lorenzo, and Teresa's cattle begin to stampede. The next morning, literally every disaster has calmed down as the survivors of the attacks meet back up at the village. Some more help arrives and all the villagers are to be evacuated ASAP. Another scientist from Mexico City shows up to say he studied the mysterious poison and identified it as prehistoric scorpion venom. He and all the main characters and higher-ups in San Lorenzo gather in the laboratory to discuss what to do about the nocturnal nightmares they've found. After gathering all they need, the group heads up to the volcano to try and gas the arthropodic atrocities. One of the party members gets thrown off his horse like Teresa did before and falls into a fissure in the rock. While he's a goner, the group finds another new crevice, and Hank and Arturo decide to suit up and find what's crawling around down there.
Oh, this is your landlord calling. I'm sorry, but you won't be getting your damage deposit back.
It's crazy days! We're slashing and bashing prices! Yes, that's right, all giant scorpions get in free! Free hot dogs and balloons for the kids! Hey, come on down and visit me in Coke Jail. I'm in Coke Prison. Get me out, come on! Come on down to Crazy Days this Sunday!
I hate to tell you this, that's not how you use the gun. It's upside down.
It's utter chaos!
Flint, Michigan. On a clear day, you can see the GM plant on the outskirts of town.
Dr. Velasco.
Hey, Hawkeye, didn't recognize you in the civvies.
This is fantastic.
Oh, do you like it? Thanks.
This specimen found by Dr. Ramos is of a species thought to be extinct as a triagenera.
As a what?
We have noted it.
What weapon do you intend to use?
Gas.
Well, we're in Mexico. That should be easy to
It
find.
has been proved effective.
I know this area like the palm of my hand.
But you can't
Better
ride
than
a
any
horse
man
to
here.
save her life.
Here they are in the 15th fairway. Boy, I wish they'd keep those horses away from the green.
Look, there's something wrong with his horse. He's falling in.
No actors were abused in the making of this motion picture. Hey, cut it out! Ouch!
Well, the only way we can find out is try to go down there ourselves. What do you say, Doc?
What, are you
Dr.
high?
Velasco, that poisonous gas work.
You want my men to go down there? It is suicide.
Don't worry about it. Doc and I haven't had a decent elevator ride in a long time.
We commit suicide every day.
They end up discovering little Juanito as a stowaway, and instead of, taking one of the many vehicles and people in their party to bring him back to safety, they just have him sit in the Jeep. Clearly, this will have no negative repercussions later on. Hank and Teresa kiss because, they had one conversation, just the two of them, and have known each other a whole day and a half, so they're in love now. Hank and Arturo are then lowered down into an enormous cavern and find a giant worm in addition to the scorpions. And of course, unbeknownst to the explorers, little Juanito's stowed away in their two-person basket somehow, and gets nice and traumatized at the unnatural horrors he's witnessed. And instead of saying, this is clearly the spot, let's gas it and get out of here, the scientists decide to keep looking around and get attacked while little Juanito runs off, instead of staying in the relative safety of the freaking basket. And who could have guessed it? It's all a bad idea.
Got my snowmobile here. Snowcat, really a beauty.
What are you doing here?
I'm a stowaway.
No, you're a volunteer, kid.
And just sit in the Jeep like a big boy, okay?
Yeah, wear that checkerboard bib overalls and hold a big sloppy hamburger like that.
It's not your responsibility.
Whose responsibility is it?
The producers. Give me my gum back. Thank you.
Now you got it. Here, I want you to have it.
And so we enter the cage, knowing the Earth's fiercest creatures await us below. Lower and lower we go, traveling past the matte paintings.
Seems like a nice enough place.
At first.
Well, this is the winner of the Uniroyal Pioneer Trophy. Now, this float is called the Little Inchworm. It's made entirely out of white coral flowers and dried shellfish. It's a real piece of work. Kathy Lee? Oh, yuck, look out.
The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, the humans stop to shoot a gun.
Even if they catch that thing, they're gonna need a lemon the size of a Volvo to eat it.
Think I'll go make some yummy curry sauce. Sounds like there's an opera going on next door.
Good, make sure they can see us. Thanks a lot.
Oh, great, it's a wood tick. He's gonna get Lyme's disease now.
Quick, get a lit cigarette.
That doesn't sound like a giant mutated scorpion.
Thankfully, Arturo and Hank are able to kill a massive bug chasing Juanito through the caves. However, it turns out that going on a suicidal caving expedition that took 10 times longer than it should have was a bad idea, as a scorpion destroys their only means of escape, as well as all the deadly gas tanks. Despite this, the wire to the crane remains, and instead of sending the 9-year-old up out of the man-eating cave first, they send Arturo first for literally no reason outside of the movie needing more screen time of a child in danger. And of course, that's what we get as a scorpion tries munching on the other two right as they get pulled to safety. Since the gas is gone due to their own stupidity, the group decides to use dynamite to close the cavern up instead, and they all start to breathe a little easier. But if you've been paying even a lick of attention to the plot, you'd remember that the eruptions are the cause of all this, and that this plan is pretty much worthless. And as could be expected, a few days later, the doctors and Teresa are flown to Mexico City to meet back up with the scientists to discuss the recent events.
Because you got some explaining to do, boy.
Thought I told you to stay in the Jeep. What are you doing down here?
You knucklehead.
Oops.
Oh, well, this isn't good, not at all. I mean, I've seen good before, and it didn't look anything like this. Remember that bad thing we saw? Well, it looked like this, remember? Yeah.
Those are cage, gas tanks, everything.
Well, my lunch was in there. Just keep thinking about your happy thoughts. Don't look down. Okay, now get a shot of me with the bug.
Oh, I'll send the rope back down for you. I promise. By the way, can I have your bike?
Great, he's a human pinata now.
Darn.
There must be about 50 of those things down there.
Can we close that opening with dynamite and seal it?
Oh, you have no idea as to the size of that place. Wait till you see these pictures.
They're great. Remember the corn palace last year? Even better than that.
You couldn't get
Oops,
one of those
I left
things
a
out
lens
even with
cap
this
on.
crane.
Oh.
Let it go.
Guess that does it.
Want to bet?
This is Dr. Velasco. Oh, Dr. Velasco, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm tying up some details. Yeah, it's corpse day down here, you know.
It is imperative that you both return here at once to complete your report.
I don't like to say that you
What kind of salary are we talking about here?
Trouble,
Out on the bridge, the bots have made their own little puppet of Joel and are trying to emulate the creature animation in the movie. Joel then tells them about the work of Willis O'Brien, the man behind the visuals of both today's experiment and the original King Kong. Not too much to say about this segment. The opening with the bots is funny, but the rest is, with basically no comedy. It's very strange.
Hey everybody, my name is Joel. Welcome to the Satellite of Love. Today we have...
I think his voice is a bit higher, Servo, more like this. Hey, sirs, what's the experiment for this week?
You know who the creator of the stop-action animation was? The one and only Willis O'Brien.
Oh, we thought it was Ray Harryhausen.
Oh, that's a good guess, but actually the great-granddaddy of them all was Willis O'Brien.
Well, didn't he also do a bunch of those dinosaur movies?
Right.
Yeah, he did something like a Valley of the...
Valley of the Mist, right? And you'll be surprised to know that a very young stop animation animator was on the scene just learning from Willis O'Brien, and that man was Ray Harryhausen.
Back in the theater, it's revealed to Hank and Arturo that they didn't discover one random cavern, but rather one small section of a series of caves, and that there's basically a 99.9999999% chance that the critters down there all survived. Now they have to talk with the world's top scientists and military personnel to decide how to proceed and kill all the suckers by utilizing the weak point in the throat somehow. They have a couple days to kill before the meeting, though, so Hank takes Teresa out on the town the entire time instead of trying to brainstorm how to save all of Mexico from prehistoric monsters. Of course, this 2-day wait was obviously only to keep the useless deaths coming, as the final night before the meeting, a scorpion takes out an entire train. Our protagonists head back to the Mexico City lab to discuss what to do, and somehow they think the biggest scorpion has killed all the other ones and is the only one left for them to take care of. How incredibly convenient!
It is obvious that the cavern into which you two men descended is part of Chamilpa Caves. Huge tunnels that run under the earth at depths up to 5 miles.
Where we could live so that the animals could be bred and slaughtered?
Some are flooded. The scorpions could easily have fled underground to one of many underground shelters.
Is this going to be on the final?
There, where it lies under the railroad.
Hey.
This is what we
It's
want.
Walt Disney and
How many
friends.
of the day after tomorrow, we want you to address a group of scientific and military experts so that we may plan for any emergency.
And we enjoy your
What
company.
kind of rifles will you use? How do they kill each other?
The throat. There's a small
Mental
spot
warfare.
right here that has no armor. Now, what we need is something that'll penetrate that small area exactly and then send some sort of poison into the circulatory systems. What it could be, I have no idea.
We'll deploy a small throat lozenge.
What with the meeting on Friday? It's absolutely secret. This
I'm
is a
gonna
city of
tell.
4 million people.
Nice girl.
Well, thanks.
Oh, you mean me?
I'm glad you... Hank, what's the meeting on Friday about?
Oh, some geophysical
About 3
conference
o'clock.
Dr. Velasco roped us in on. Cigarette?
Not
Yes,
right
it
now.
is.
After you finish that, where am I taking?
Do you realize this is Mexico City and no one has dinner before 11 o'clock at night?
Then it should be easy to get a table.
Midnight.
Big crusty scorpions here. Get your big crusty scorpions.
I was afraid of this. Scorpion hobos. Wow, I should not have had all that tequila. I feel so rocky. Now, if you look out the left side of your train, you'll see the right side of the train.
We at Amtrak would like to apologize for any inconvenience that may have caused. This rarely ever happens.
The express train from Monterrey has been derailed outside of Mexico City. Early reports indicate an appalling loss of life.
Do you know the way to Monterey?
The largest killed 4 of them, and I think may have killed the rest of them.
Where is this scorpion?
We've lost it in the hills, 10 miles out of town.
But the boys are dusting for prints as we speak.
Mexico City goes crazy as citizens flee as fast as they can. You know, what our so-called heroes should have done when they had the chance to gas everything in the cavern then and there. All the scientists and military bring their equipment into the local stadium in hopes of finishing off the beast once and for all. They lure it away from the people with a bunch of dead cows to get it within range of the new weapon. While waiting for a clear shot at the throat, the army men get tossed around like rag dolls as the scorpion throws their tanks around like a toddler with their Duplos. They finally impale the thing, and it lasts quite a while before finally going down, after killing who knows how many innocent people that'd still be alive if Hank and Arturo weren't the worst.
Attention, the city is under martial
Hey, it's a
law.
Disney Channel.
All inhabitants living... The scorpion has not yet reached the city. It has now been verified that only one giant black scorpion is alive.
It's panic days here in Panama. I must be crazy to be putting this much on sale. Panicked young schoolboys, only $15.99. How do we do it? Volume, volume, volume.
Operation is proceeding. Okay, that's fine. Have Major Ortega meet us in front of the stadium with the weapon.
What?
With what kind of weapon?
Is it bigger than a bread box?
I hope it is a weapon. Just now it is only a prayer. Dr. Velasco. Yes.
Just pretend you understand.
All the heavy equipment into...
You are looking live at blasted out Milagro Stadium, where just in a few minutes, puny local authorities will attempt to take on a giant, bloodthirsty, genetically bloated scorpion.
Enters the... This should bring him in here. I hope so.
Gee, if you're making
About the
soup for
only way we can
10,000,
order
that's
it.
all you need to make a great stock.
Might need more than one.
A fabulous arsenal is assembled. Tanks, firepower, snowplows, Chevys. Huh?
Queequeg, I feel the presence of the Great White. Watch for her to surface.
Oh, nice move, but I gotta wonder if there wasn't a little contact with the ground there, and that would nullify the play.
Got to make this good. My babe's in the crowd.
The spear is up and it's good! Score. Mexico 3, Scorpion nothing.
While Jim subdues the angry scorpion, I'll mix up a roux for a tasty gravy.
Now, while your scorpions are being cooked, you could fix up a nice salad that could be done when you're ready to serve.
Woo, little onion, cayenne pepper. Woo, good stock, I guarantee.
Now we can secure...
You better get out of here.
That scorpion's not going to be drooling anymore, that's for sure. Let's get out of here. Is that just a serving suggestion, by the way, there?
Yeah, I think so.
And finally, to close us out, Joel and the bots check out some fan mail where Crow gets a letter from someone who really should have just stayed in his lane.
It's time for our favorite segment of the show, when we get to read some of the really great fan mail we've been getting up here on the Satellite of Love.
It's juicy self-indulgence.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
And the next one we've got is addressed to you, Crow. It's from Tony Hepdard. Dear Crow, I think you're doing a fantastic job. I find your commentary for the most part insightful and relevant. There are times, however, when it appears as though you are forcing the issue.
Ha, psych!
And just trying a little too hard. You sometimes talk simply to be heard. Simply to say, hey,
No, I don't think so. I don't just talk simply to be heard. I have a reason behind my talk.
These remarks were not intended to be scathing, but rather as helpful aids to your future success.
Yeah, thank you very much.
This is great.
So
I love
that's
this
from
part
Tony
of the show.
Papadard. And what
Thanks,
do you think
Tone,
of
you loser.
Well, that's it, sirs. What do you think?
I think the swelling's going down.
Yes, and I think you should file this. Here.
Fine.
Until next time, Mr. Skin-on Wiener.
Overall, this feels like a pretty middling Season 1 episode. Not awful in plotting like Robot vs. the Aztec Mummy, but not actually entertaining like Untamed Youth was. You can also tell they had some trouble riffing a few scenes. For example, when they go scorpion hunting up the volcano about halfway through the episode, they pretty much exclusively make golf jokes until they discover the deep canyons. Now, I'm a lover of running gags, but they're not clever and go on for far too long, hence why I cut most of them out of the review. There's also too many "we already knew that was gonna happen" jokes for my taste. I'm not a fan of those sorts of riffs unless they're really funny, and the ones here just weren't funny enough to justify themselves. It's honestly a little disappointing that the season couldn't end on a higher note after the last couple episodes were actually pretty good. I came in with some optimism for this one and it was just meh, but what are you gonna do? As always, thank you all so much for watching, and huge thanks to all my beautiful Patreon supporters including Jackie Ball, Kevin Nata, Victor Cordova, and Tony Briscato. Now that I'm finally done with Season 1 after far too long, what episode should I review next? As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I won't be going in chronological order anymore, so make sure to leave your suggestions down below for whichever episode we should check out next. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.
Now, for you folks playing at home, keep in mind scorpions, unless genetically mutated, do not growl.